just wanted to do this video and show a couple mock-ups of what I think the Cybercab is going to look like. Go over some of the tech. Also, I've got some AI images of what I think these vehicles are going to look like as well. I have a Fed outlook and a forecast for Tesla stock. Let's start with the Cybercab. Now, I think it's relevant that Elon Musk changed the name from the robo-taxi to the cyber-taxi. Obviously going to be based on the Cybertruck architecture. This is where all the advances are. This is the latest vehicle. This is the latest, greatest vehicle. I think, Tesla just announced more layoffs today. I think they're going to, Elon is going to put all his eggs into this architecture, and he's going to, come out with the Tesla branded cyber taxi based on this architecture, and also the Model 2 based on this architecture. But let's just go through the architecture real quick. They got 48-volt architecture, harness, and component. The point here is, with the 48-volt, everything weighs less and it's simpler. They got steer-by-wire, drive-by-wire, torque vectoring, rear-wheel steering. These are all new technologies that they've perfected in new for Tesla in the Cybertruck that they're going to use in these new models. I'm going to add in here the range extender battery that was announced for the Cybertruck. Adds 130 miles of range. So they could make the Model 2 on this same platform and then add the range extender for the Cybertaxi. So there you go. The Cybertruck is wireless charging ready, but the wireless charging is not enabled. I do believe wireless charging is going to be part of this. The Cybertruck has the 4680 Gen 2 battery, 800-volt architecture, and bi-directional charging. And these are all going to be part of the Model 2 and the Cybertaxi 2. And these are, a whole new iteration above what Tesla is making right now. The 800-volt architecture is interesting because they're going to split the pack up into two 400-volt packs using an electromechanical switch. GM was doing the similar thing, allowing it to charge on 400-volt chargers effectively. But this is all, and also bi-directional charging. Now, I hope they have vehicle to grid, at least on the horizon, because there are BEVs in Europe right now. The owners are using vehicle to grid charging. In other words, taking unused energy out of the battery when the car is parked and the grid needs additional. Instead of firing up an auxiliary power plant, they take the electricity from the car battery. Some people in Europe are doing this in certain countries, and they're making $800 a year. So I think I would hope that that would be part of this. So stainless steel exoskeleton, armor glass for sound and safety. I think these are all going to be part of the robotaxi. They got the ether loop wiring harness. Again, this makes everything Tesla's making now look like a Model T. They're definitely going to put this into this is much like a home network, and you got a router and then you got a loop, and everything's tied in instead of everything having separate controllers and they're all shooting a home run to a CPU. You got this box here and it got a wire going all the way back, and then you got this box here and it's got a wire going. No, it's on a loop. It's on a network. It's eliminates so much complexity, weight, and so forth. So again, gigacasting frame, although I think the frame is going to be altered for the Model 2 and the robotaxi. I'm going to say how. And the stainless steel body panels, I think, are definitely going to be part of the robotaxi. And if you look at the Cybertruck. The extreme use interior. They got rubber floor mats covering the floor. They're thinking ahead. This is going to be the robo taxi isn't going to have carpeting. It's going to have these rubber mats. It's going to be a smaller Cybertruck, okay, with the same interior, front and rear touch screens, seats 5 adults. These are things that are going to be part of the Cyber Taxi, and I think also probably the Model 2, because all these things are also going to cut prices. I have down here all these tech features, but a shorter wheelbase. They could put a battery extender in the hatchback. I think this is going to be a hatchback. Cyber Taxi would have stainless steel body panels. The Model 2, and I'm going to bring this up because I think this is a possibility, and I think this would be could possibly be a great move for Tesla. I don't know. Molded plastic body panels. Okay, rather than stainless steel, which are glued on the mega casting, we could have fiber infused molded plastic body panels, color impregnated, not painted, no paint involved. And if people wanted to change the colors, they could wrap the car. This would be similar to the Pontiac Fiero, okay, if you remember that car. Now let me just take you back a minute. John DeLorean designed the DeLorean, which was the inspiration for the Cybertruck, which was a stainless steel body with hard right angles. John DeLorean was also responsible for making a cheaper car. He was the head of the design team and so forth. It's a cheaper car. It was based on a space frame. It had, instead of stainless steel panels on the outside, fiber impregnated plastic panels, and that car was a $25,000, even less than a $25,000 car at that time. I think it was a $14,000 car, but it was the cheap version of the DeLorean, and that was the Pontiac Fiero. So think about it. It's going to be the same production line. It's going to be the same giga castings for both of these vehicles. But I think this all makes sense. I'm going to go on here and show a couple mock-ups of these two vehicles, the Cyber Taxi and the Model 2 I came up with through AI. All right, I don't know. I mean, obviously Elon is cutting staff, trying to maintain margin, trying to maintain sales, keep sales up for Tesla autos. And I think the next quarter could be very challenging. I think if Elon can make it work with all the cuts, it's going to be a boon to the stock. And I have a forecast I've done here that may work in that direction. But I think the macro environment has more to do with this than anything. I think it is interest rates, okay, that are making these models unpalatable to most people. Of course, we have the hybrid Assault. And if you look through, the hybrids are also less expensive than the BEVs, and I think that's also a function of interest rate. If the interest rates were lower, perhaps a lot of those purchases would be battery electric vehicles for the BEV curious. Anyway, I just want to go over this because I think people are overlooking this, especially the Fed. In my opinion, much of the inflation, maybe 50%, and I heard a statistic that said there is more foreign money invested in the stock market today than there was during the dot-com boom. Okay? We have Russian, Ukrainian, and Chinese money pouring into the United States. Okay? I was visiting a major metro area full of Russian, Ukrainian, and Chinese either immigrants or tourists, more than Americans. But that's anecdotal. I think obviously the Chinese economy is imploding. Ukraine may fall. Hate to say that, but it may. And this in turn may threaten the rest of Europe. And Russia, people of military service age are trying to get out, and families are trying to get out with their money and so forth. Real estate is definitely affected by these groups, including rent. I know of an area where a lot of Russian money has bought apartment houses. They don't even rent them. They don't care if they're rented or not, or whatever deal they have worked out on the rent. They are land banking. They are taking money out of their country, whether that be China, Ukraine, or Russia, and they are buying U.S. property with it and banking their money in that way because they know property rights are so strong in the United States. Anyway, and stocks, the stock market is definitely, you look at the run-ups in these stocks, this also is for this foreign money. When they come in, they want to buy, they're going to buy the biggest and the best. They don't care what the price is. They want to get their money into the market, and they want to, again, property rights and the protection of this money in the stock market and the privacy and so forth. I'm just going over this. China's in an economic tailspin. Okay. They may pull out. They're taking steps, and they have a command economy. They can do that, but not right now. In the EU, Ukraine may fall. Poland may be threatened. France is trying to arm up. I mean, this could be a threat to the whole European Union if Ukraine should fall. Now, all this money that would go to China, the EU, Ukraine, Russia, it's all coming to the USA. And this is in large part causing a lot of our inflation. I mean, there's other things, gouging of insurance companies. They were allowed to raise rates based on spurious data that was collected during the pandemic when super risky drivers were driving. Those rate hikes should be rescinded. Oil prices, which has just come out now that major oil producers and fracking companies were colluding with the Saudis to manipulate and increase the price of fuel starting in 21, 22, 23. I mean, these are also areas that the government needs to act on, that the Fed has no control of. But I think we have a lot of government inaction regarding the economy. I think there's a lot of room for action there. Powell is likely not to I don't think Powell's going to cut rates unless the stock market crashes. And the stock market is still inflated. And if he waits until the market crashes, it's going to be too late, and he ain't going to be able to cut fast enough or hard enough. So I think this is the real perspective of the economy right now. Rate cuts are not in the cards. They may come if the stock market crashes. But if the stock market crashes, all bets are off. So I think that's the macro outlook for Tesla and for Tesla stock. Now, let me just move on here. Now, I did a statistical forecast of the Tesla stock price, and this is just a daily forecast for the next 10 days or so. It's May 6, 24. I forget, I think the stock price closed at 181 and change. The forecast I have based on this is 184, 80 for tomorrow. So a slight increase, and that's the base forecast that this algorithm came up with. Now, this also produces a confidence level, a low or a left bound and a high or a right bound price. And the interesting thing is, right here, the low, potential low, this system sees for tomorrow is 177.8. The high is 191.8. Okay. Now, these are all individual days. You can pause this and read this at your own. But again, this is 5 days from now. Again, we're holding with this 184 forecast until we get more data. The left hand, the low price is going lower as we go farther out from today. But so it could drop to 169, but also the high is increasing. And this is the trend we're seeing here. This is 10 days out. We got the 184 base. Then we're down to 162 on the low end, but the high end is 206. So I think what this forecast is telling us is volatility. There's a potential upside here that I think is slightly weighted for the stock versus the low end, although the low could be there. I think if you look at the chart, there's a wedge there, and it's contracting, and in the past Tesla's gone up from there. But I just thought that this was very interesting, going up to 206, 206.9, 207. You know, that's another 20, almost $25 over today's price. And that's the potential in 10 days. But we could also, you know, right here, we could drop a good 20. But you see, we got 25 potential upside and 20. Anyway, that's a ARIMA model from One Step Ahead Forecasting, time series forecasting. All right, this is MXUX. I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Take a look at the AI generated images of the new vehicles. Thanks for watching. Okay, so this mock-up here, I think the Model 2 could look like this, and I'm basing this on a shortened Cybertruck chassis with a lot of the same components as we mentioned earlier in this presentation. By making the battery tray shorter, we can make the wheelbase shorter, and we can use the extended battery pack in the hatch area of this car, for example, or underneath the back seat, whatever the case may be, to give it extended range if that was needed. But the idea is to turn the Cybertruck into a hatchback, and as I had mentioned, what we can do to cut costs even further, I believe, is to go with plastic body panels. And we'll have these fiber-enforced plastic body panels, molded in color, no paint shop required, unboxed or boxed assembly, and simply glue them on in lieu of the Cybertruck stainless steel panels, and using the same type of gigacasting and so forth. So remove the truck bed, put a hatchback on it, and change it from stainless steel to plastic. And then all we got to do is put the impregnated plastic color in, and there you go. So that's my take on the Model 2. A Cybertruck with a shorter wheelbase, minus the bed, redesigned plastic fascia. Now, once again, here's the mock-up for the Cybertaxi. And again, this is the Cybertruck architecture or platform, shortened wheelbase, truck bed removed, replaced by a fastback. And again, now these panels have some indents. You can imagine this in a more stealth fighter look, kind of flat panel, more Cybertrucky. But I think This gives you an idea, and this would be made out of stainless steel, perhaps a lighter gauge of stainless steel than the Cybertruck to cut costs, but stainless steel nonetheless. And I think that this would suffice as the Cyber taxi. And again, this could be built on the same line as the Cybertruck, with modified battery tray, a shorter battery tray. And again, we have the extended battery option, which we could fit under the rear seat or wherever if need be. But I think this, with the four-wheel steering, the drive-by-wire, and the stainless steel, rugged stainless steel, and again the rugged interior of the Cybertruck, the rubber floor mats and everything, have it be 5 capacity adults, screens in the front and back, four-wheel steering for agility, shorter wheelbase, lighter fastback version, actually, of the Cybertruck, modified as a urban cyber taxi.